Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully complete our code application for the student group, right? So now we successfully complete that total part. So now in this video I want to discuss about another option for our school management system that will be needed as a student shift. Okay, so the shift is very much important part, that is a shift A, shift B. Okay, that means for the morning shift or for the day shift. Okay, so here the shift is also be important. So now I want to create another code application, and that will be just like that same procedure. And also for our shift we need only one field as a name. Okay, so let's do that work. For doing this, right now we don't need this. I remove everything. So now we will copy everything from our student group. Okay, so I remove everything. So into the sidebar area, first of all I want to take one of the menu. I copy it, and that will be one of the student shift. So that will be one of the student shift, and then I want to replace group to the shift. Okay, so right now that is actually our work. So now I want to create another route for this one as a shift. Okay, that will be as a shift. That means the student shift view. So now go to our web, into the web. Right now I want to add another one that will be also into the same prefix as the setup prefix. So here after this I paste it, that will be as a student shift. Okay, student shift routes. So first of all there is a view, I copy it. As I told you, now I want to copy everything from our group. So I want to replace it group to the shift. Okay, that will be the shift view, and then that is a student shift view. So I have created that our route will be as a student shift view, and you can see that is actually our student shift view. Perfect. And now I have to create one of the controller. I want to create one of the model and also migration file. So that will be just like same. First of all I want to create one of the controller in our setup folder. That will be not the year. I want to create another one as a shift controller. Now click as a enter. Our controller is now successfully created, and after that I want to create another model for the shift. So that will be also as a shift, that means the student shift, and also I want to create another migration file. Click as enter. Our model is created and migration is created. Perfect. Now go to our database. That means that is actually our database. Right now that is also be needed, the same one field will be needed. So better I copy it from our student group, and then that is our student shift, and here after this I paste it. That will be as the same name, string value, one field I want to add for our this table as a student shift table, and also that will be as a unique. Okay, now click as a save all, and after that I want to migrate it. PHP artisan migrate. Now click as a enter. Our migration is complete. If you now go to database, I have created new one as a student shift, right? So also that is only one field name as a name. Perfect. Now I want to close it. I have created one of the controller. I have to support this controller. That is our setup folder, and that is our student shift. So in our web we have to load it. I copy it. That is appropriately the same location, and our controller name as a student shift controller. I copy it. That will be as a student shift controller. So now I want to add this controller. So for our shift route I want to create it. So to the shift controller I want to create one of the method as a view shift. Our format will be just like that same, only we have to replace it. So you have to create this method, that means this method in our shift controller. Now go to our shift controller. That will be as a public, and then function, and then our method, right? So that will be our method, and also here we have to load our everything I want to copy from our group. That will be same, that will be our model will be needed. So I have also created another model. If you go to that model, I have created another model for the student shift. So that will be as a student shift, right? That will be our model. So with this model I want to get all the data. So that will be just like that same. I also want to take the same variable, then it will be better. And then after this I paste it. That will be as a student shift, and then I want to get all the data, take the things with this variable, and here that is our data array, and I pass it in our I want to do the backend setup folder. I want to create another one as a shift folder, and also I want to create another file as a view shift. Okay, so now I want to create this folder in our setup folder. Now go to our setup folder. So right now I want to copy everything from our group. Okay, so into the setup folder, I want to create one of the new folder as a new folder and name it as a shift, and with the shift folder area I want to create one of the page as a view shift. Okay, that means create new file, click as a save as, name it as a shift, that means a view shift, click as a view shift dot blade dot php. Okay, that will be this one. So now in our group there is a view group. I copy everything from here. This will be just like that same. Actually it's becoming easy because of all I only take one field, right? So here for the reasons we don't need to change anything. That will be as a student group, that will be as a student shift list, and I also want to create another button as a add student shift. Perfect. And then our data, I pass that same variable, so here we don't need to change anything. That will be only the shift. Okay, I make it as a name as a shift. So now with this shift I want to visible that our database table field name, that means that is actually our field name as the same name as a name, and also that will be as a ID, that for the edit or the delete. Perfect. So we successfully complete our view. That means right now we get all the data and visible it in our view shift page. So that is our view shift page. Right now click as a save all. Now go to our project, click as a refresh, and now if you go to that student shift, perfect, that is the student shift list. So now that is our add student shift. I want to insert some of the shift. Now go to our view page, and that is our button, right? So into the button area there is a route. I want to make it as a student shift, that will be the student shift add. This route we have to create. Now go to our web route. I want to copy it from a group. I copy that add, I paste it, right? So that will be the shift to the shift, and I make it as a group to the replace it to the shift. And then in our student shift controller I want to create one of the method as a student shift add. This method I want to create in our student shift controller, right? That means here. So it will be same process here. We need to load one of the page. After that I paste it. Our method will be as a student shift add. In our backend I have already created on the folder as a setup, and then the shift, and I want to create another one as a add shift. So I have created this folder. Now I want to create this file name as a add shift. That means in our shift folder I want to create another new file. Click as a save as, name it as a add shift dot blade dot php. Okay, so that will be our file. So this shift file will be just like our group, add group. I copy everything from here, and now in our add shift here I paste it. So that will be the same as a student shift, and then that is our name will be student shift name, and then everything will be just like that same, right? There is only input field one, and also there is a validation name. I name it as the same name. For the reasons here we don't need to change anything. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Now go to our add student shift. Yeah, there is a student shift name. So now we have to insert this data. That means we have to add this form route. So that is our form in our add shift blade, and that is our form. So now I want to create another form as a store student shift. So that will be our route as a student, the store student shift. Now go to our web route. I want to copy from this one. That will be as a same, okay, store. After this I paste it. So that will be as a post method, obviously. So that is actually a post method, and I want to change that name group to the shift and restore student shift, right? So if you go here, I name it as a store student shift. So store student shift. Perfect. Now in our this controller into the student shift controller, I want to create another method as a student shift store. A student shift store method I have to create, right? So now I want to create this method in our student shift controller. So that will be, I copied everything from our student group. That is actually the store method. I copy it, and now here I simply, after this, I paste it. Okay, I paste it. So that is actually the position, and that is actually same position. Okay, so better I take it into the same. Perfect. So now I want to add it. That means here we have to update it our method name. Our method will be as a student shift store. I copy, that will be as a student shift store. Request validation unique will be our database. Our database right now, there is a different database as a student shift. I copy it, and that will be as a student shift, and our name field will be as a unique, right? So it will be get that in our this query. That means the required, and then our data, our model name, I have already loaded our model. Our model will be as a student shift. So now first of all I have to create that object, and then the name field will be save this data, and that will be as a student shift. Student shift inserted successfully, and then it will be returned direct to our view page. I have already created that view page as a student shift view. I copy it, that will be as a student shift view. Perfect. So that's all we have to do, right? So now I have to click as a save all. I click as a save all, and now go there, click as a refresh. I want to insert some of the shift data as a shift A. Okay, so this type of one of the name, click as a submit. Yeah, student shift inserted successful, and there is also view on here. I click as another one as a shift. I make it as a B. Okay, shift B, or you can use that as a morning or the day. Right now I make it as a shift B. Shift B is also perfectly getting. I add another one as a shift C. Okay, I make it as a shift C. Click as a submit. Yeah, it's now successfully inserted all the data. So now I want to edit it. So that will be just same procedure. I click as that is in our home view page. So that is our view page that have also another button as the edit. So I make it as a shift. Okay, student shift edit and the shift ID. So this is the route I want to create. Now go to our web route. So from here, that will be also one of the ID. I copy it. After this, that will be as a student shift edit with the ID student shift edit, right? So I have created this one. So into the view, there is a student shift edit with the ID. Perfect, student shift edit, and that is actually our ID. So now in our student shift controller, I want to create another method as a student shift edit. Student shift edit. So now we have to create this method in our this controller, right? That means here. So I want to copy it from here, our student group controller. I copy it, and here I paste it. Okay, so that will be our method. Our method will be as a student shift edit with the ID, our edit, and then our that is model name. Our model name I have already created as a student shift. Find out this ID, return view or page. So our return view, one of the edit page, right? That means in the backend I have already created one of the folder as a shift. In the shift folder I name it as edit shift. Okay, so this is the file I have to create in our shift folder. So that is our shift folder. Here I create another new file. Click as a save as, name it as a edit shift.blade.php. Okay, perfect. So that will be as the same our group edit. I copy everything from here, and now I paste it in our shift edit. So that will be as a student edit student shift. That will be as a student shift, and then that is our student shift name. It will be just like that same here only. There is a edit. Also I pass that same variable. You can say I pass that same variable. For the reasons here we don't need to change anything. With this it should be display our name. That means in our value area it will be getting that appropriate ID name, right? Perfect. So friend, that's all we have to do. So now if you click as a save all, and now go there, click as a refresh, and now I want to edit our shift ID 1, click A, that means click as edit. Yeah, it's perfectly getting this value. If you go back, now there is a shift B, click as the edit. That is actually our requested ID as a 2 ID, and it's also getting that value. So that is actually our value is now visible, right, in our edit page. So now we have to update, like that is our update button, that is our submit. So that is actually one of the form. Into the form area we have to update. So better I want to continue this process in our next video. I will complete that update and the delete portion for our shift. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.